In this video, I want to discuss with you guys the 3 main things you need to do in your interactions to get a girl to want you sexually. And the thing is that all 3 of these pieces need to be in place. I see dudes messing up in one way or another with all 3 of these things, so I want to talk about the common pitfalls that men are making, and when you find the balance of each 3 of these pillars, you can get a really powerful result. So let's jump into pillar number 1, which is going to be several different elements of attraction. Now, obviously, your physical appearance does play a part in this. If the girl isn't even remotely physically attracted to you, it's going to be really hard to get her aroused. The same way that, as you can imagine, if you have 0 physical attraction for the girl, it would be really hard for you to get aroused or even have any type of sexual desire towards that woman. So that's like a prerequisite to attraction. I'm not going to dive that deep into the physical attraction in this video. I think it's very obvious you should be optimizing your look as a man. It is by no means the end all be all because there's a lot to discuss in this video, but that definitely plays a part in that. As a dude, there is a minimum threshold of physical attractiveness that you're gonna need to have in order to even get to the next step. So please prioritize your look while you're going on your self-development journey, guys. But that's not the only thing that actually creates attraction with women. That's a part of it, but also the way that you interact with the girl, the way that you communicate with the girl, the way that your voice sounds, the delivery that you speak at. Can you talk in a way that creates the right emotions within the woman? A lot of dudes, the way that their voice sounds, the words that they say,
it sounds very friendly, very platonic.
Or even worse, they're extremely nervous. So you have a nervous dude who has low levels of physical attractiveness, who doesn't know how to communicate with the right voice or say the flirtatious things with the right delivery to create sexual tension, to create flirtatious vibes within the interaction, to create the emotions within the woman while you're communicating with her that spark attraction. And that's why this pillar is so essential, because if you're a dude and you don't look that physically attractive, even if you're pretty good at your flirting, the girl's just not attracted to you. And the opposite is also true. If you're an attractive dude, but you can't communicate properly, then the spark isn't created. I see a lot of dudes who are pretty physically attractive, like maybe even more attractive than me, and then they go on dates with women and the girl says, hey, you're a really great guy, I'm just not feeling the spark. Translation is, you didn't communicate in a way that created the spark. You didn't inject flirtatiousness. You weren't able to create sexual tension. You were stale with your communication and the emotion was not created. I'm not feeling the spark, AKA you didn't create the spark. Okay, so that's pillar number 1. And I go over a variety of different ways on my channel with your conversation skills, with your communication to spark more attraction. But that is an essential foundational piece to be able to get a girl to even consider getting with you sexually. So that's attraction. Now, before we get into the next 2 pillars, I just want to say really quickly, guys, if you want to work with me directly, click the button below, check out my brand new program. I have an insane offer going on right now. I've never given away this level of coaching at this price point. So if you want to check it out, click the link below, watch the quick video there. Would love to have you in the new program. More details on that at the end of the video. Let's get into pillar number 2. Now, if you're a dude who's already getting into conversations, maybe you're flirting, maybe you're going on dates, but you're still not getting women to desire you sexually, that brings us into pillar number 2, because the next missing piece is that the woman doesn't really feel that comfortable with you. She doesn't feel that connected to you. Understand that before we even get towards sex, there needs to be arousal. Before there's even arousal, the girl needs to be relaxed. You can't have arousal without being relaxed. And this is a crucial piece that dudes are trying to skip over and go straight to sexualizing an interaction. They're either in an interaction or they're on a date with a girl and the attraction's going up. Maybe they even end up back at the house with the girl and they're trying to fast track this process to the finish line, not realizing that without proper deep levels of connection, comfort, security, trust, the idea that we're gonna see each other again in the future, her being comfortable with your apartment, your layout, her having an understanding of who you are as a person, what you went through in your past, her feeling like you understand her on a deep level, and that you guys have connections in a special, unique way. Without those things in place, it is solely sexual, and it becomes very obvious and very predictable what your sexual advances are when you get home and you're trying to escalate, or maybe it doesn't even go to an escalation point because she's not feeling relaxed. And that comes down to a couple different things, because I see a lot of dudes where they don't really build a deep connection with the girl. They start making out with the girl very early on. Understand that the earlier you kiss the girl, the less connection is already in place. I don't recommend kissing too soon and making out too soon and trying to escalate too soon, because one, it's gonna break the tension, but two, there's no uniqueness to you guys. You can escalate and flirt and bring the tension high, but dudes that are at that beginner intermediate phase, they'll be very quick to try to push for the finish line. A dude who's been through this process understands how women work and understands that they slowly get cranked up like a volume knob. And so what I'd recommend you do instead is you bring it close to a point where we could kiss, or maybe there's light kissing, but then you just keep the tension high. You don't over escalate physically and keep making out and release all the tension. You just do a tiny bit or bring it almost to the brink of that point. Now the tension's high, and now you could transition into actually creating a deeper, unique, special connection with the girl before proceeding to the further levels of arousal. And this is actually gonna show her a couple different things. It's gonna show her you're not super thirsty for sex. It's gonna actually give her a chance to escalate on you, right? Ideally, you want the girl escalating, reciprocating, participating in the whole escalation process. When you're very quick to push the steps forward, especially when there's no connection in place, it doesn't seem unique to the girl. It's very predictable. She doesn't feel connected to you. And as a result of that, you're gonna ultimately get resistance from the girl. So if you have high levels of attraction and you feel like the girl's into you, but she's the one putting the brakes on the escalation process at one point or another, or it doesn't go down on the first, second, third date, and she's saying hold on or slow down, or she's just not like on you either, you're most likely rushing through this thing prematurely. And what I'd recommend doing is get the tension high, but don't bring the tension over the top. Pull back a little bit and then genuinely connect with the girl on deeper and deeper levels. And once we've really connected on those deeper levels about a variety of different topics, and we've even done some future projection, talking about different things we could potentially do in the future times that we're hanging out, like showing the girl that you're serious about seeing her again and again, and that you guys created this unique connection, and those things are in place, and then we kiss, it just creates a stronger bond between the two of you guys. When you kiss and make out and try to escalate early on, no connection, there's no uniqueness. It doesn't feel like anything special. It seems like you're just another dude who's trying to get his nut off. If the tension's high, you pull back, which makes her feel secure that you're not in a rush to do any of this, so she can actually relax, and then you get to know her on a deeper level while the tension's still high. She'll feel more connected to you. You talk about hanging out with her in the future projecting, and then she feels like she knows you. She feels like you took the time and care to get to know her, and she sees your willingness to want to hang out with her again in the future. And then now the escalation process builds up. You're a lot more likely for things to go further now, because now she's actually getting more bought into you, and it feels like a unique, genuine connection, which is what you want. You need her to be attracted, but then she needs to feel comfortable around you. The way she feels comfortable around you is because she really got to know you. She feels like you understand her on a deep level. She feels like you weren't thirsty for the sex or escalation, and she feels like you guys are connected. You get her, she understands you, you guys are in sync, the attraction's high, the good emotions are flowing between the two of you guys. Now we're in a place to move into the third and final pillar, which is the arousal process or the seduction process. In order to go into seduction, there needs to be attraction, there needs to be comfort and connection and trust, and that comes with everything I'm talking about so far in this thing. So the final part of the seduction process, one other thing I would recommend doing is don't be so predictable with this thing. Dudes get to this part and then they're very quick to try to take the clothes off. Touch here, remove here, unzip this, up, slow down. Bro, we did all this work just for you to over-escalate at the end. You gotta take it slow, man. You gotta take it slow. The slower you go with this process, the less likely you are for the girl to put the brakes on you. So one final piece I recommend that the dudes do during the seduction process is at some point, you put the brakes on her. You put the brakes on her, dude. Let me say that a third time. You put the brakes on her during the escalation process. Have the self-control, have the patience, have the discipline, and hold the frame of the escalation process to pull back a little bit, have her slow down a little bit, and just take your time with it, dude. By you putting the brakes on her, you're flipping the table a little bit, because she's typically the one, she knows that when you touch her ear, she knows this, she knows here. She's just getting ready to put her hand on your arm and say, hold on, no, slow down. Wait, I don't know if I want to have sex tonight. Wait, hold on, we need to chill. right? That happened to me a bunch of times in my journey. I would escalate, the girl pulls back. I would chill and I would escalate, pull back, the girl slows me down again. Escalate, chill. I was like this fucking thirsty little dog trying to get the bone. Literally, that's what it was, dude. And when the girl keeps having to say no, it sets it up so she's never chasing. It's very predictable. She knows what she's getting out of the whole thing. And that'll happen sometimes if she really likes you off rip and she's very highly attracted to you, or if she just has a low standard and she does this a lot, any one of those things, it will work. But I'm telling you, if you really want to get a girl craving, desiring, thinking and imagining and fantasizing about you sexually, there needs to be attraction and connection in place, but then there needs to be space during the escalation process for her to come to you at some point. So understand, guys, if you're not the one putting the brakes on the escalation process periodically, it's still on you to move it forward. But if you're not the one that's also putting the brakes on it, then inevitably she's the one that will be putting the brakes on you, thus putting you in the chasing and pursuing and over-escalating frame, which is not a good position to be in. It's not sexy, it's not seductive. So if you're lacking attraction on the front end, okay, you're gonna be a nice guy, friend zone. I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. Here's my number, no text back, left on red. I'm not feeling the spark kind of a dude. If you have the attraction, but there's no comfort and connection, then it's very obvious that you're just trying to have sex with the girl. She's not that aroused, she's not bought into it. She doesn't feel special or unique or feel like you guys are connected in any way. And so she's not gonna actually be aroused. Without comfort and connection and being really relaxed and into you, there's no arousal process. You can't just go from attraction to arousal. You need that comfort and connection that comes from safety, security, future projections, creating a deep level of rapport with the woman, feeling like you really get her, she really understands you. Lack of comfort and connection could also get you to the finish line, or maybe you kissed the girl on the date or even have sex on the date and then you got ghosted. That means you didn't have enough comfort and connection. It means you over-escalated, you kind of skipped over this pillar. You had just enough to get her into it in the moment kind of a thing, but the moment that lust dissipates and the climax was over, the reality seeps in and there was no actual unique comfort and connection, and that's when she'll end up ghosting you. So if you ever got ghosted after you closed or after you made out with the girl, not enough comfort and connection. So that could stop you from getting to the step, or if you prematurely still got there and got away with it, it could still lead to ghosting after, which was a really tough one for me in my 20s. There was a lot of girls I over-escalated this process with. I got the lay, and then I never saw that woman again. And then it was weird when I saw her out, and she probably had buyer's remorse around the whole thing, and it was really my fault because I didn't understand these concepts. And if you're not doing the third pillar properly of seduction, the girl's gonna be putting the brakes on you, and that's gonna lead to a dynamic where you're chasing, and she's saying no, not tonight, slow down, blah, 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 etc. Okay, so do these things in order to properly get a girl aroused and ultimately thinking about wanting to be with you sexually. If you want to work with me directly to level up your social life, your dating life, your confidence, mindset, discipline, work ethic, business, branding, whatever the elements are, to really just become the top 1% of men on all levels, click the link below, check out my brand new program. Insane offer going on right now, guys. It comes with a 30-minute one-on-one call directly with me. That's the onboarding call. There's a daily live coaching call every single day going on a variety of different times directly with me. Access to all the content, nice and structured out, every single module. The community's popping. The program is lit, all right? And you could try it out risk-free for 1 month for a couple dollars a day. Worst case scenario at the end of it, if you're not happy, I'll give you a full refund. No questions asked, no fine print. You got nothing to lose. Click the button below, check out the program. That's all for this video, fellas. Peace out.